Good evening and welcome to the SVG-TV news for Friday, June 24th. I'm Calypso with the details. Omnibus operators across St. Vincent and the Grenadines are crying out for an increase in bus fares, lamenting that they are at a great disadvantage in these difficult economic times. Some operators told our news team today that they have been barely able to take care of themselves and their families, noting that whilst the cost of living has increased, bus fares have remained the same for too long now. The operators say that even with the low fares, there are passengers who still refuse to pay the full fare, but they still transport them, and although this hurts them in their pockets, they are sometimes left without a choice.
Passenger fee is alright for me, but the gas is very high. So it's a problem with the gas. Because sometimes if my tank reach half, and we used to take like $70, so full it right now is 100 and something. Yeah.
Nothing rough, really rough. Trust me. Right now, gas prices are killing me. And we need some little help with that. We call out to the government to help with. To help drop the price or something, because right now, I burn in $300 and something every day in gas. Sometimes they short people, but you can't do nothing. I myself a credit because of the customers.
I go park up my van because it's like a donation I'm doing. The price for the diesel need to drop or raise the fare price.
Yeah, the system tight, you know, real stiff. We got to struggle a lot to make it. You know, it's not easy with the fuel price.
It's not too long. If this continue, trust me, it won't be too long, because as the prices raise, right? A driver have to buy parts for the van, whether it be a bash pump, anything you name it for the van, and those going up as well. So if we have to continue under one flat price, what are we going to do? How are we going to make it? And also people need to understand, we as drivers and conductors, we have families too. So how are we going to make it? Everybody have to fight, you know? Supermarket fighting, other business places fighting. We have business too. Say all the vans decide to strike. We movement going to meet. And everybody can get a ride from a fellow friend.
One omnibus owner and operator was almost moved to tears as he lamented on the hardship he endures and called on the government to step in and provide some assistance.
Well, personally, you know, this bus here belongs to me, right? And I borrow bank money to buy this bus, right? And since I buy this bus, everything around bus raise. Everything. Normally, I used to burn like, I work in Josh, and I used to burn like a 190, 200 a day. Right now, I burn like 340 a day. I used to buy tire for 14 something. Now I buy tire for 17 something. Understand? I have to pay my loan. And it's real rough right now, Pawi. It's real rough. Understand? Somebody need to step in and do something for the van man them. Understand? Because it's our way of living. And I mean, and then the police them, I know they're doing their work, but right now, it's real rough. Understand? It's real rough. The expense too much. I know some of van man right now, they have to park up the van and they won't frightening, thinking bank will come for them van and this and that. You understand? I'm struggling real hard because all the parts have gone up, brake shoe gone up, biscuits gone up. It's very hard. Don't they wash down the man them? The wash down man them, wash down to be 20. Up country right now is 25. It's everybody raising. Only thing you're raising in swimming too is the van passage. And it's real rough. You see me doing the interview, I feel like cry. Kind of pressure me I feel. I swear. Can you pay me loan? Me and people last month. You might see bank come and take me van right in front of you. It's rough. So Ministry of Transport, you see, brand new tire. I mean, I just buy them from Star Garage. You understand? $17.85 by Star Garage. You understand? It's rough. So we want help. You want help? Comrade, help me.
Meanwhile, vendors on the streets of capital Kingstown are pleading with the authorities to rethink the decision to have them removed in the coming months. Our news team today spoke with a number of these vendors who say they learned of the pending cleanup exercise through the media, which they are not happy about.
You can't tell people move and you ain't telling them where they come make $100. What we going to do? Thief? We sell everybody they call and you do this, you go thief the jail in you. So what we supposed to be doing?
It's already slow, very, very slow. And when they move us, this is our living, what do we do? So we need to act the government. What are the means of survival? Because we are all poor people. You can notice we have people that have children. I'm a mother with young children. And how do we survive? Because this is our living.
Other vendors said while they are open to the idea of moving into the new vending markets, there isn't enough room for everyone. And even if there is, it will be a great challenge to secure significant sales to maintain their business and families.
Here, this is the market area, and the government they give us here and say we have in here for vendoring. And if we have to go a little closer, I understand. But to move me, I'm not happy about it. Because I had a stall in the market. Sometime whole day I in there, I sell $3. And all of that is the reason why I came out from inside there. Because I'm not getting, who is to the front will catch $1 faster. But you who they way inside can't catch $1.
People them where we go in the market can't hold everybody. So that makes sense. When Mr. Mitchell, Benjamin Mitchell, when he say off the street, and he come and say, leave the people them on the street, and now he want we to move. So, we know where we going.
Don't think everybody cannot hold in those new locations. So therefore, some will still have to remain on the street. If not them, what would we do? Because a lot of us, this is how we make our livelihood. We do vending for a living, for livelihood, to send our children to school, to pay our bills, to buy food and everything.
When you're outside here, you got better sale than inside the market. If they tell us to stay, because inside the market cannot hold everybody. If they tell us to stay outside and like paint the tables and keep out in a clean state, I'd rather to stay outside more than inside, because out here get better sale, because things getting harder and harder every day. And cost of living, everything gone up high.
One vendor who has been operating her small business outside the Kingstown market for years is wondering about what will happen to her business when the cleanup exercise takes place, noting that she was given permission to operate there since the market opened.
Saying that the cleanup campaign is not good, but what I'm saying, I am here outside the Kingstown vegetable market, and I was placed here by the Kingstown Town Board. I did not here illegally. I pay a fee of $5 every day. They is who mark out here from the beginning and put us here. And it will be unfair for them to move the people that they have placed outside the vegetable market. On the street, yes, sometimes it could be complicated, but because of the hardness of the country, we do not have no work, and this is our mean to provide for our children and our grandchildren and our parents. So if they take us here from here, where will they place us? How could our customers find us? Because this is our main source of income. We do not have no other means. So it will be really unfair for us. I don't say that some of the people don't want to move because there is in place that is not broad enough, right? But to move us, the original market vendor who they place outside the Kingston market by the Kingston Town Board, it will be really unfair for us. My number is number 39. That is the number they give me, to me, Alex John. And I want to say, how will I maintain my old mother? How will I maintain her? This is my main source of income that I get in every week to supply my mother. And to take this away from me, it is not right, it is not fair.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has congratulated the newly elected Prime Minister of Grenada, Dickon Mitchell, via telephone following his party's win at the polls on Thursday. Grenadians cast their votes in favor of the main opposition, National Democratic Congress, NDC, which saw them take 9 of the 15 seats that were contested in the general elections and unseating the new National Party, NNP, led by former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell. Speaking on Star Radio today, PM Gonsalves describes the election results as an amazing reversal, adding that he and Prime Minister-elect Dickon Mitchell will be meeting soon to discuss bilateral matters.
It's an amazing reversal because the NNP of Keith Mitchell had won all 15 seats, and 8 of those seats in the last election had been won by majorities of 600 or more. Just to say that last night, shortly after 9 o'clock, I got on to Deacon and congratulated him. And soon as we will meet, I have to talk about OECS and CARICOM matters with him as the most senior Prime Minister, and in both in the OECS and CARICOM. And of course, we have bilateral matters to talk about. Our closest neighbor is Grenada.
The election victory by the NDC prevented Dr. Keith Mitchell from holding the post of Prime Minister for a 6th term. PM Gonsalves says Dr. Mitchell has made a significant contribution to regional integration during his time in office and expects Deacon Mitchell to do the same.
I want to reiterate my congratulations to Deacon Mitchell, Prime Minister-elect, and his NDC and on their remarkable victory, and also to thank Keith Mitchell for his contribution. And Keith Mitchell had a good position in relation to OECS, CARICOM, Petrocarib, Cuba, Venezuela. And I expect Deacon to continue to have that position and even strengthened.
Even as the celebration begins for Vincimas 2022, Vincentians are being encouraged to be mindful of the presence of COVID-19 and to follow all necessary protocols to protect themselves. Speaking on NBC's Face-to-Face program this morning, Acting Chief Health Promotions Officer Shanika John said that the ministry continues to see cases of COVID-19, but in small groups.
I think one of the things that we are very much concerned with is the people who are not testing. And that is really just for them to enjoy the season. And I mean, you can understand their thinking behind it, but I think at this time people also need to be mindful of the long-term effects of that. One, on the individual, because I strongly believe that COVID-19 could switch up on you so quickly that especially if it's undiagnosed, undetected, especially if you have multiple pre-existing conditions and you're under the influence of alcohol. So those are things that we really would like persons to consider, that if you're not feeling well, take a minute and stop and pause and get yourself assessed, because that assessment could very well save your life. I mean, I've said to persons in multiple settings where even though you want to enjoy the season, make sure you are alive to do it. Because if you're not alive, then all of this effort of wanting to enjoy it is in vain. So you really have to stop for a second and think about, what am I feeling? I have this sore throat for a very long time. I have this cough. I have a fever. I have fatigue. I have runny nose. I have a sneezing, a coughing. Do I need to go see a physician to get myself assessed? And the answer is yes.
Noting that testing and vaccination sites are still up and running, John is encouraging partygoers to either take a COVID-19 vaccine or get a booster shot.
All of our testing sites are still there. The vaccination sites are still there. I mean, for persons who are very much heavily in the entertainment sector, specifically, I've already advised them that I think you should get a booster. And that's really just to give you that added protection. I mean, realistically, Johnny, when we're looking at persons performing on stage, persons entertaining crowds, it's extremely difficult and almost impossible for them to keep physical distancing, to wear their face mask all the time. And so that vaccination could give you that added protection. Now, it's not saying that it's going to prevent you from getting COVID, but the side effects and the long-term effects of the virus on your body, you have a fighting chance. And I think that is something that is very important to consider at this time.
John used the opportunity to announce that the Pfizer vaccine for children ages 5 to 11 will be available in SVG from next week.
Next week, we're going to be getting the Pfizer vaccine for our children 5 to 11 years old. It's going to be available in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So those parents who have children with pre-existing conditions who are vulnerable, this is an important opportunity for you to get that coverage for them.
President of the Calypso Association, Earl Cabba Bennett, says all is set for tonight's Calypso semi-finals, and he's inviting the general public to be a part of the action at the Victoria Park. 22 Calypsonians who have advanced from the preliminaries will compete in the semi-finals this evening for a spot in the finals. Bennett said at the semis this evening, persons will hear a diverse number of calypsos, including political and social commentaries, noting that Calypso injects humor and serves to engage, educate, and entertain.
Calypsonians are the voice of the voiceless, the voice of the oppressed, and they give voice to where persons do not speak. So you're going to have excitement, education, and you have an enlightenment and entertainment, the 4 E's. And not only that, apart from the competitors, we have courageous artists in the persons of the reigning champ, Shannon McKenzie, Wetty Beats, which we get the tackling from his song Thing Go Nice Again, and we shortened this Thing Nice Again. And the man with all the energy, the man who never gets old, the man who has been in the business 56 years old, out of Trinidad and Tobago, we have Crazy. There's a treat for you in the competition, there's a treat for you after and during the competition. So come out in your numbers. As someone said many years ago, come out in your numbers. There's a meeting at the Market Square. You don't come out in your underwear. Yes, come out at Victoria Park in your numbers. Come out in your underwear but make sure it's covered. Calypsonians are there to treat you, to give you the royal treatment. So bring a friend, even your enemy, and flock to Victoria Park. Tonight, the action begins at 8 p.m. sharp.
Bennett said the standard of the songs this year is very high and the semis will be a very tight competition.
In my presentation, I have some good Calypsos and very competitive, and it's very competitive, it's going to be very tight. Who is going to emerge out of the 11 is anybody's guess. There are some wonderful, some excellent Calypsos. I don't want to name Calypsos because if I name Calypso the president, people might perceive that or think or interpret that I have a bias towards an individual Calypsonian. But suffice to say, the standard is pretty high. Of the 22 we have, yes, you will enjoy yourself once you come to Victoria Park. And I'm encouraging you to come in person. The experience is much better when you are there to mingle with the crowd, to interact with the Calypsonians.
The 11 Calypsonians who will advance from the semis to the finals will take the stage on July 3rd. Bennett says that on that day, there will be 3 activities: Panorama, Calypso finals, and a mass presentation, which will not be judged.
Well, the finals will be held on the 3rd. Sunday 3rd, that used to be branded Dimanche Gras in French, Big Sunday. It is now rebranded Pan Calymas because it involves the 3 components of Carnival: Pan, Calypso, and Mass. So this year at the Calypso finals, on that day, you have Panorama finals, but Mass will not have a competition. There will be a showcase of Mass. So on the 28th, you have Junior Calypso. You cannot speak without involving the juniors because they are the future. So after today, you have the next thing you have Calypso. There are some people debate it, but I say Calypso constitutes Kaiso, Raga Soca, and Soca. So technically the next show for Calypso is Sunday coming here, Royal Rumble at the Solidarity Car Park. And then on Tuesday, you have Junior Calypso. Saturday, Soca Monarch. On Sunday, the Kaiso finals. Once again, the Kaiso finals on Sunday 3rd, named Pan Calymas. So you are in for a treat this carnival, Calypso galore.
Members of the general public are being urged not to let their guard down this carnival season. This is the advice given by Sergeant of Police Carla Tim, who shared a number of crime prevention tips as the official start of Vincimas gets underway this weekend. Sergeant Tim says the police force expects that this will be an active carnival season in light of the 2-year absence of the festivities due to the COVID-19 pandemic. She warns persons of the need to secure their homes when they leave to attend events, adding that parents should ensure that children are not left at home unattended.
For the past 2 years, been absent of carnival, so you know there will be a lot of persons coming out to participate in carnival activities. Let me start off with the home. If you're going to leave your home, we are asking persons to secure your home by locking all doors and windows. You know, persons have a tendency that When you're leaving home, they want to leave the bathroom window open for ventilation. It's a no-no. Leave on a light. Persons might be saying, oh, my current bill will be high, but sometimes you rather leave on a light and pay extra $50 than coming home and leaving your whole television set or your radio set gone. Around these times, you have to be your brother's keeper. And also, we asking persons, when you're leaving, don't leave children at home unattended. Leave somebody who is an adult to support your children. If you can't find a babysitter or you can't find, don't go anywhere.
Sergeant Tim also urges persons not to make themselves attractive to criminals by flashing money or wearing excessive jewelry.
Make sure that you don't walk with excessive money. So to speak, you walk with what you know you're going to spend. And we know persons want to hold their handbags and swing their handbags. We're asking you to secure your handbags by holding them under your arm and firmly under your arm like that with your handbag. Put the zipper in front and not behind of you. When you're walking with your purse, you hold your purse firmly under your arm like that. So you know some persons also you want to push their cell phone in the back pocket and the wallet in the back pocket, both male and female. We're asking you to bring those items into the front pockets, whether left or right. And at times, you just pat on your front pocket to make sure that your cell phone is there and also your wallet. When you're going through Kingston, where there's crowd, where it's Middle Street, Bay Street, or whatever, we want persons to be on the alert. You know, some persons, it's a carnival time, you want to wear the 3, 4, 5 gold chains and bundles and all that. If you don't have to, don't do it.
Meanwhile, tips on how to spot counterfeit bills will be shared during an upcoming exhibition by the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. The Crime Prevention Awareness Exhibition, being held under the theme Enhancing Safety, a Shared Responsibility, will run from June 27th to July 1st and includes a booth dedicated to highlighting the features of the genuine polymer notes. Sergeant Tim tells SVG-TV News that criminals have been trying their best to duplicate polymer notes. She says there are particular features that persons should check are present to verify that notes are not counterfeit.
Knowing from the central bank, from what is a genuine one we have, we could see that persons are trying their best to do the new polymer note counterfeit, but some of the features that this note have, they have not come close to these features. Well, in the counterfeit, in the genuine note, which is a polymer note, the new one we have now, that note, if you have, like, for instance, a $50, on the area where you have the 50 in the silver metallic area, that, if you all shift the money, you're supposed to have like a little glaze into it, like a titanium glaze. In the $50, simply you have 2 fishes, right? There will be one by the 5, one by the 0. So you know that you must have 2 fishes and it must have a turtle. In the area where you have on your right hand part, there you see there is a metallic part. If you shift it still, you see it. If you look very carefully, you will see there's a dolphin or a bird. Look like a dolphin, look like a bird. So those are the 2 simple features I'll be able to give you. And also offhand, in that note, you will have a silver metallic area where it will be displayed the currency of that money.
In the event that bills are suspected to be counterfeit, Sergeant Tim says a report should be filed with the Criminal Investigations Department, CID, as soon as possible.
We advise you to come to the Criminal Investigation Department and you report it. That you realize that this money is not real because some of the features that you know being displayed or which being educated about or seeing is not there. So the next thing is that where you got the money from, and then basically investigation will be put into play immediately.
The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Coast Guard Youth Development Summer Program 2022 will kick off on July 11th after a 2-year interruption due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. During a recent interview with the Agency for Public Information, Coordinator Petty Officer Damian Franklin said that the program is geared towards the overall development of its participants. He expressed gratitude to the sponsors for making the program possible and highlighted a number of areas which the participants would be trained in, which includes navigation, conflict resolution, and safety at sea. Petty Officer Franklin added that while the registration period has ended, interested persons can, however, have their names placed on a reservation list in the event that a registered participant fails to show up. The SVG Coast Guard Youth Development Summer Program will be carried out in 3 phases at the Coast Guard base. Each phase will see an increase in the number of participants per phase from 50 to 60 as a result of the increase in sponsorship. Being made possible by Sagicor, the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Wind and Sea Company, and the St. Vincent Port Authority.